Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Thursday, July 13th, 2017. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm very happy to be joined by the Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports, the National Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports, Steve Wiltfong. Steve, welcome to the show, my friend.
Good morning, David. How are you, my friend?
I am doing excellent. I'm hanging in there in fantasy baseball. You're doing better than I am, but I'm hanging in there in the 24/7 league. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I hit a rough stretch, but still playoff bound if it started today.
That's right. That's what it's all about, making the playoffs, and we'll see if we can unseat the great Tim Watts, who wins every year in our league. All right. Amazingly, this is going to shock you. Some Ohio State fans get a little hot and bothered about player rankings when it comes to recruiting. I know this is very surprising to you. Jaelen Gill, I know it is. It's amazing. Jaelen Gill moved down 4 spots. I know he did very well at the opening. Explain that situation. Why did Jaelen Gill's ranking change 4 spots for the worse?
Well, I think we talked about it on the board, but I think it was just a matter of, us moving up a lot of other guys that kind of shot up the rankings for us. And typically a lot of the guys moved down 8 to 11 spots. Jaelen Gill moving down 4. We tried to move him up, and it just kind of worked out that unfortunately it was still a 4 spot drop, but his rating stayed the same. We still think he's the number 1 all-purpose back in the country, and we like him. And it was just, you see all these kids like upset that they dropped, and they're ranked in the top 100. There's a million kids playing high school football, and I know they're being competitive and splitting hairs, but I just can't take it that serious if a young man's upset that he's the number 3 safety in the country and there's a million safeties. I just can't. I mean, I understand it's your competitive desire and you want to be ranked number 1 at the position. I get it, but to act like you're being disrespected is just, I got no time for that. We obviously have respect. We got another dad who's complaining that he thinks people don't like white receivers and his son's ranked in the top 247. I got no time for that. We obviously respect your son. We have him as a 4-star. He's ranked in the top 247. I mean, so from my perspective, which is all I can give you, I tried to see it from everyone's side, but from my side, and I didn't see any complaints from the Jaelen Gill camp, or at least I didn't hear from anybody, so I'm not talking to them, but just in general, I just can't take it serious when someone's complaining about their ranking and their ranking is high. I can't.
I hear you, and it's splitting hairs when you're talking about, as you said, there's so many kids that play high school football across this country. When you're talking about, players 1 through 10 at a particular position, it's usually splitting hairs. And, I'm with you on that. I mean, I can see, I put myself in the player's shoes, and I'm sitting there, I'm ranked 3rd in the country in my position. All of a sudden I drop to 4th. I'm sure I'll be like, what's going on here? Wait a minute, I was just 3rd, now I'm 4th. But, from a reporter standpoint, I could not agree with you more. And obviously some guys moved way up. I know Jeremy Ruckert moved way up. I want to ask you about Master Teague. He's a guy you've been out in front of from the get. We have him ranked 24/7 Sports as the number 3 running back in the country, number 50 overall. According to the composite, he's the number 19 running back, number 379 overall. I mean, that's an immense gap when you look at the overall ranking from 50 to 379. Is the rivals ranking kind of holding him down a little bit? Is that what's going on, Steve?
Well, I didn't check who was holding them back on the composite, but I just know that I could go higher on Master Teague if you ask me. Now we'll see what he does as a senior. We gave him a move, but when I look at some of the guys that are ranked ahead of Master Teague, I still think Master's a better prospect than those guys, and he moved up because he tested off the charts at Alabama and Ohio State. He had a very good junior season. So you put those two hand in hand, and you have a top 50 player. Now, like I said, we have some running backs ranked ahead of him that I would still say, I'm sticking with this. Sorry, I'm struggling, Dave. I could still make an argument Master Teague is the number 2 running back in the country. that's the way I feel about him. I could make an argument that I could put Master Teague in the top 15, top 10 based off testing numbers and statistics. And I think he runs hard. So, I'm high on Master Teague. That's why he moved up. But Barton Simmons is high on him too. It's a no-brainer. I mean, for you to sit there and ignore what he does from a testing standpoint and then a productivity standpoint, that's on you. I mean, that was easy for us to bump him. And I'm not sure we bumped him enough, but we gave him a hellified bump. And then with Jeremy Ruckert, he's as competitive and as tenacious and as complete a tight end as there is in the country. The other guy I like a ton is Luke Ford out of Illinois, who's a little bigger than Jeremy and could ultimately end up being the number one tight end when they all get to college. And the Zach Kuntz kid going to Penn State, I think he's terrific as well. Those three have kind of separated themselves in my book as far as highest upside. But Ruckert just seems to have a different gear right now, and he's so consistent catching the football and just flashes, making big play after big play. He's got after catch ability. I saw him at the Jersey Nike camp, and he is just a relentless blocker in those one-on-one drills, just brings the right frame of mind to the football field every time he competes. And so we feel good about Ruckert, and he bumped up 24 spots, so that means that if you were in front of Ruckert in our last rankings and your rating stayed the same, you still went down one spot because Ruckert went up 24, right? So that's why, you look at the top, every time we update the top 247, but this time more than ever, and it's awesome because that means people are looking at our stuff and paying attention to us in our rankings, that almost everyone goes down, because we're only moving up a handful of guys. Everyone else is treading water. So if you're treading water and we're moving others up, we're not starting from scratch. So when you move up a Jeremy Ruckert, that doesn't mean that we don't like Bray Walker. It just means that, these other guys passed him.
Makes a lot of sense to me. And Ruckert's going to make his decision, of course, on Monday. 100% of the crystal ball picks are for Ohio State. I mean, it's obviously going to be shocking if he picks anybody else except for Ohio State. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the Ohio State crystal balls. Last I checked a couple days ago, I don't think he had informed the staffs. So I guess that means that there could be a curveball, but I'm expecting one right down the center of the plate for the Buckeyes, and they land their top target at tight end. No one's recruited him better than Ohio State, or I shouldn't say better, but no one's put more time and effort into it than Ohio State. And so I like where the Buckeyes stand. I do think Michigan would be the other school. It would be surprising if he picked Notre Dame or Wisconsin. It would certainly be surprising if he didn't pick Ohio State, but I do think that he was very interested in Michigan, and Michigan did a fine job recruiting him as well.
We are 8 days away from Friday Night Lights. It'll be Friday, July 21st, and I know you were always there. I always see you there, and you're always working it hard as always. There's so many things I'm sure. Country. Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I know Urban started at Florida, and it reaped serious rewards there, and he brought it here. Now everybody seems like they're copying, or at least a lot of programs are copying off of Urban Meyer, and rightfully so. What do fans need to watch for the most? Do you think there's going to be a commitment that night? Just anybody you want to talk about, Micah Parsons, Blue Smith, anybody that fans really need to watch for Friday Night Lights?
Well, I just love being there because the atmosphere is off the charts. You get there and you get to run into a lot of people, media and recruits alike, and then you are involved in a great atmosphere. A lot of Bucknuts readers are out there, so I love talking to them, and so I really enjoy that. And then there's always a lot of talent on the field. Commit watch, Cam Babb, the kid that's right on the cusp of being a 5-star with us. I'd be shocked if he's not a 5-star with us come National Signing Day. Ohio State's top receiver target. I think he wants to take visits, but second visit to Ohio State this summer. So, he's a guy that I've kind of looked at You know, I don't know if a young guy would maybe pull the trigger, a young in-state guy that's, you know, got an offer that'll be back. But it's, you know, there's going to be a ton of Ohio State commits and a ton of targets on the field, and the Jumbotron will be rocking, and there'll be a great atmosphere in the crowd, and there'll be some great competition on the field. Jason Oweh, 4-star defensive end that Alex Gleitman's been on top of his recruitment. You know, he'll be there, so should be a great event.
Well, Steve Wiltfong always comes strong. Thank you very much for your insight, Steve. I really appreciate it, and thanks to all the listeners out there for tuning into the show. Hope everyone has a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.